Hey everyone, welcome back to another Sunday Nights with Faye Seidler. It's me, Faye. Sunday night, we're going to talk about news. The first thing I have coming up is an event on Wednesday, January 14th. It'll be covering the federal tax on youth's gender-affirming care access. This will be put on by the Trans Youth Emergency Project. This is an organization that's there to make sure that youth can still access their medically necessary care and life-saving care across the nation in ways that make sense. Often this means driving to states that allow it, but they are going to be reviewing the current attacks, what to expect, and kind of probably what the playbook looks like this year. So if you are in healthcare or if you are someone who cares about this in any way, this is your best organization. This is your best chance to follow what is going to be happening. Speaking of queer or trans things in general, the Transgender Day of Visibility is coming up in March 31st. Right now, there's a planning meeting that will be put on January 18th, which is going to be next Sunday from time of recording, between the Pride Collective and Parachigo. They are inviting people who would like to be involved with planning this event or contributing to it to do so right now. These are wonderful opportunities to get more involved and feel like you're part of a community. So I really recommend if you are maybe, slightly interested or on the fence, just do it. Just go. Contribute to the celebration that is the Transgender Day of Visibility in this local area. I want to highlight the Brain Injury Network because they have a ton of webinars on their website and events that will be happening across the year. These are really good opportunities to connect with training, especially around brain injury. I took a training like this last year and it was really informative to me to understand the ways that brain trauma, brain injury can really impact behavior and even things like suicidality in ways that people have no real control over. This can happen because of concussions or, serious injury, but it is worth knowing that folks with brain injury sometimes have unique paths towards healing or kind of coping with what's going on. And I think it's important for all of us that work in healthcare or social work to at least be aware of these things. So check out those opportunities, recommend them to your friends. In exciting news, if you want to work for Firstlink, there are currently job opportunities. Firstlink answers our 988 crisis lifeline. They also answer our 211 general helpline. If you want a job that is about helping people, this is a great job to get into and feel like your work matters. It is a highly stressful job, and it's not a job for everyone, but if it's something you have any interest in, I recommend applying and seeing if it's a good fit for you. In goodish news, the Fargo Youth Initiative has found a new home with the Fargo Public Schools. The Fargo Youth Initiative is an opportunity for youth to have their voices heard by our local government and general city. I think that youth voices are often missing from pretty much everything that we do. We often make decisions about youth rather than talking to them about what their lives are actually like. And I think it's critical that we are informed with their experiences. Being a youth today is not remembering what your childhood was like and it's probably this. It's way different. They have way different lives, concerns. They have things that are going on that we don't know about unless we ask. So I really love the Fargo Youth Initiative. I've been promoting them every chance I get since I heard about them existing years and years ago, and I'm glad that they continue to exist. In exciting news, the Indie Hope Project did their press release as an announcement of the new organization, which is kind of just a collection of a lot of key figures in the work of preventing abuse, trafficking, or sexual exploitation. You can watch their 45-minute press conference on this, but it has a lot of individuals that I personally know, that I trust, that do fantastic work, and it is exciting to see how much our state is taking this seriously. There is abuse in North Dakota, there's child abuse in North Dakota, there's trafficking in North Dakota. It happens in our rural and small communities, it happens across our state, but a lot of people don't talk about it. A lot of people don't want to talk about it because of the shame it brings to them to know it happened in their communities, but because of that, it increases stigma and increases isolation. It reduces the chance of us being able to help other folks who've experienced it. This year, we are taking that back. We are educating on this, we're advocating on this, and we're making sure that everyone knows nobody deserves abuse. Nobody deserves sexual exploitation, and we owe it to each other, all of us, to step up to make sure that our neighbors, that our friends, that our family are safe. So this is really cool. Two additional addendums to that story is that North Dakota schools are teaching human trafficking awareness in 2026. I don't know how deep that will go in or what grades or how that's involved, but at least give youth better toolkits to understand what this all is. There's also resources that are shared from the North Dakota Domestic and Sexual Violence Coalition around stalking. It's kind of a stalking awareness month. There's a proclamation from our governor about it. But just keep in mind that stalking is very dangerous behavior, and it's something that everyone should take seriously when it's ever occurring. This kind of slots into the same idea of, breaking boundaries and consent and harming people. These are all kind of similar efforts and ideas, but just be aware of these resources and look out for your friends. That's kind of the best most of us can do, but a lot of good work is happening. The special session in North Dakota is coming up, and one of the interesting things is the lawmakers are working on a free school meal bill. This is funny because they're like trying to get ahead of the ballot measure, which will definitely pass. And when ballot measures pass, it is very difficult to get them out of our state constitution. Our lawmakers can't do that. So they're basically trying to circumvent this to get something that they can change and modify, which is fine. I don't like it either. Any way that we feed youth is good, but it's just kind of funny. That's kind of what they're doing. So there's a story on it, and I will report more on it as I hear more about it. In fun news, in my history in life, is that RuneScape is more popular than ever. The game I played as a teenager in high school is now something that is like really popular these days. RuneScape is really interesting. This isn't my usual topic of coverage, but I just like it anyways. RuneScape is really interesting because they actually kind of changed their model to be very consumer friendly. Basically, they ask players of that video game what they want, and the players can vote on it, and they actually decide these things, including things like removing microtransactions from the game or predatory practices. So things that a lot of folks in business are like, we got to do this to maximize money. RuneScape isn't. They're listening to their customer, and they're maximizing their money because that's one way to do it to keep a loyal fan base. So RuneScape's doing better than ever. I had a character, Grandma Faye. They were like 1800 level or something. During the pandemic, I revisited the game and got to like level 2000-ish, like total levels. It's a game up my alley, and it's just cool. I want to let you know that North Dakota Monitor has launched a podcast. They're now podcast competitive with other folks in the state. North Dakota Monitor is independent news that covers a lot of our state political topics and some of our kind of peripheral community topics. They are one of the most trusted sources of news within North Dakota. They have been complemented by the folks that they cover, including state judges, in ways that make me confident and trust their coverage, that it is going to be fair and accurate. So it's cool that they have a podcast. It's in partnership with Prairie Public as well, but they'll be covering stories, I think, once a week for this year, though it's just launching, so check it out yourself to see what's going on. If you like to listen to podcasts in your car about North Dakota news, this is another opportunity for you. The big story in our region is a local woman who was killed by an ICE officer during an obstruction of some kind. There's quite a lot I can say about this, and I definitely have across social media, but to keep the show short, I'll just say that I've put together a resource about where all the protests have happened, about ways to get involved if you do not like what you are seeing in our current world, and to give you an idea that there are a lot of people who are not happy with what is going on. I believe in civic action. I believe in fighting for what you care about, and this is an opportunity to really express that you are not happy with how the things are going in our world right now. And there is quite a lot of things that you can do about that. I think a lot of the times people feel powerless because individually we don't have a lot of impact. But I think that if you task yourself with how you can do something, even if it isn't changing the whole world, but just, being a little annoying about some stuff, that matters. And I think when you do that, you feel a little bit better about the world because you are at least moving in the right direction if the rest of the world is not. I believe anyone can get involved in any civic action they want if they are for or against the events that have happened here. That is my core value. But I wanted to create a place that has a little bit of the history of this and a way for folks to connect with how they want to get involved. So that's what I'll say on this piece for now, but the story has been something that has impacted me. I did not have an easy week trying to process recent events. But we do the best we can, and the show continues as we do our best to make the future a better one than today. A local story in the Fargo News is that 3 of our advisory boards within the Fargo city government are being dissolved. They were just going to be dissolved, but now they have 60 days to prove their worth to the Fargo City Board. I'm sharing a link to a PDF up there. Is about the Fargo Arts and Culture Board's 10-year impact report. I have also said a lot about this on social media, but I think that it is myopic and incompetent to eliminate these boards because of the value they bring to our city that isn't necessarily measurable on a spreadsheet. When people think about living or working in Fargo, when they think about Fargo's future, they look to boards like this. Even if these boards are not doing everything we might want them to be able to do, it is still a gesture. And when we take away that gesture, we take away the warmness that invites people to live and work in our city or plan their future here. It begs the question of if these are going away, then what's next? And how much will we continue to divest in people and differences in culture and beauty in our state? I think when we give up on these boards, we in a very real way give up on that. And as much as you can say, oh, we will honor the intent of these boards going forward, we all know that's not real. Like there's not a person that is able to comprehend language that thinks that that statement is a real statement. So I don't know if I have to be the one to say that, but that's something to consider. I want to bring up a story from Grand Forks, specifically from our Grand Forks school leaders. They have complained that some of our state policy changes have made it difficult for them to continue to keep attendance in line with a lot of students being truant and them not having the same tools to be able to adequately address that. I will say that there is a lot of nuance to this story that is beyond me as someone who is not an expert in school policy. So I'm not here to talk about that. I do want to bring up that I'm someone who dropped out of high school because of truancy policies, because I was depressed and suicidal and I couldn't make it to school anymore. It was overwhelming and scary and terrifying. And the response I always got to that was a bunch of big, scary adults telling me how worthless I was and how much of a big problem I was and how much I had to come to school. They never cared about or listened to the problems that I was going through. They just treated me like a problem. And the reason that I ended up dropping out was because they started to threaten to call the police and to make me come to school that way. And that's scary too. So I don't know what the solution looks like. I can tell you that punitive policies that invite things like juvie, they aren't the fix. They're just going to end people's lives. Like, that's what I survived. So I only share that to share some of my personal experiences with it and hope that we find ways to really help and heal youth as opposed to, I don't know, slamming them into shape or something like that. As a final story, I want to say that I've been doing a lot of updates to my website. One in particular is my data systems, and if you want any access to LG Plus data across North Dakota, I am your best bet. I am the data of North Dakota for LG Plus individuals, and you can check this out on my website. I have all the data there, and I'm continuing to make it better. My website was kind of trash for a while, but I'm updating it, and it's like, it's okay now. Like, you might actually go there. Like, it could be a good time. That's hopefully. All the stories I talk about, I want to say too, is something that I share on my weekly report. You can find it. I have links to all of it. This is really just to give you some information, and then if you want to like invest further, you can find more stuff out. As I said before, this year I really want to like get big. Yeah, I get a lot of people to hear about me, know about me, because I think I connect everyone in a way no one else does. So please share me out. Please talk about me. Please say, oh my God, have you seen Faye talk about stuff? It's someone who's young and energetic and hopeful about the future. We've never experienced that in North Dakota. It's a new thing. You could tell people that. Yeah, that'd be pretty fun. But thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting me in the show. You can support my work on Patreon as well. Otherwise, I hope to see you next week. And life is a little bit better next week, too. You have a good rest of the year.